another couple of pages. My fault. I was live earlier, doing like a segment on whatnot. I was trying to sell some Pokemon cards in this pool game, this like nerdy hobby thing that I'm doing. You feel me? Check us out though on the 90s Bodega on YouTube. Keep up with us. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna be doing a couple more. I'm gonna be reading. We're gonna be reading a few more pages of Parable of the Talents. Like I said, for every other person that watches this, you guys are more welcome to join the chat, hop on and yeah, chat with me. I'm open to discuss whatever topics you guys want to get into, as long as it relates to the book or whatever is going on in present times right now in the states. It's a lot of stuff that's going on around. I'm not trying to get too political, whatever stuff is, but like I said, there's a lot of things that we should all try to have our opinions on and hear each other out. And yeah, that's basically what this channel really is about. That's what I'm try to build the community on. Like I said, if I invited you to come and check this out from a different platform, yeah, like I said, feel free to chime in, share your opinions, blurt stuff out. Yeah, no issue. And just rewatch it, like I said. But yeah, last time we were on page 10. And we were, was I on page 10? Man, I forgot, to be honest, man. I really forgot. I didn't even watch the other video that I had posted up the other day, but like I said, these videos are gonna stay up on this YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys could relate and see what's going on in this present time and see the connections between this book. I think it's kind of fun and exciting, you feel me? So yeah, let's just get into it. Yeah, like I said, we're reading Parable of the Talents. It's a fiction book based in the year 2032. So let's get back into it. You feel me? By the author Octavia E. Butler. So yeah, I think we were on page 10, if I'm not mistaken. We'll try to get through a chapter. I read kind of fast, but don't worry. I'll try to let you guys know. I don't even know if this book actually had, oh, it does have chapters. I didn't know if it had chapters or not. Well, we'll try to read like 20 pages or 10 pages, you feel me? We're going to be doing these every other Thursdays and Sundays. So if you guys want to, like I said, chime in on live, I'm going to be going live every other Thursdays and Sundays, like around this time or earlier, like 9 o'clock-ish. Because like Thursdays and Sundays, ain't nobody really doing that. So if you guys want to learn and pick up something and just be inspired and just get away from the madness real quick, yeah, tune in and check out the latest video. But yeah, let's get back to it. Where we at? Page 10. All right. For the kingdom of heaven, it is a man traveling into a far country who called his own servants. But if you guys are new, this book is about the future, kind of based on Christianity, morals, and Scientology stuff. Like I said, I am a moderate. I'm not truly leaning on either side, but I believe in certain things, and yeah, the high power and stuff like that. It's always got to be a high powering thing. So this book has a lot of, like I said, like Christian moral, like views and traditions and stuff like that. But I'm not trying to like put religion on anybody. You feel me? It's just a fun book to read about, and like I said, maybe connect it to whatever's going on right now. You feel me? If you can make those connections. But yeah, it's gonna get crazy. But yeah, we'll go back to it. For the kingdom of heaven is a man traveling into a far country who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and there straightway took his journey. I don't know if they were quoting something. Oh yeah, the dad. I get the dad was like a pastor in the book, and the main character. You feel me? They're talking about like their dad and stuff, and they were like a pastor. Yeah, my father loved parables, stories that taught, stories that presented ideas and morals in ways that made pictures in people's mind. He used the ones he found in the Bible, the ones he plucked from story, the ones he plucked from history. I gotta wear glasses. Sometimes I get tired around this time. It's pretty late right now. We in the Western Hemisphere, West Coast. Take a guess. But yeah, I already lost myself. My father loved parables, stories that taught, stories that presented ideas and morals in ways that made pictures in people's mind. He used the ones he found in the Bible, the ones he plucked from history, or from folk tales. I love folk tales. You know, funny thing, I'm actually, I think I was like, I read like I was a descendant of like some Irish kings and stuff like that, like Celtic stuff. It's crazy. But yeah, do a 23 me, y'all. And of course, he used those he saw in his life and the lives of people he knew. So he was like a storyteller. You feel me? Try to be as vivid as he can. He wove stories into his Sunday sermons, his Bible classes, and his computer delivered history lectures. So that's pretty cool. You feel me? Something like what I'm doing right now, I guess, like an online lecture or something. Because he believed stories were so important as teaching tools, I learned to pay more attention to them. I might have otherwise. Excuse me. I was drinking Pellegrino. I quote the parable that he was reading now, the parable of the talents. I could quote several biblical parables from memory. Maybe that's why I can hear and understand so much now. There is preaching between the bits of the parable. I honestly don't really know what parable means yet. I think it's like what, a story or a statement or a verse, but it sounds like, yeah, it's like a composition of like I don't know, like a story or a map or something like that. But I can't quite understand it, right? I hear its rhythms rising and falling, repeating and varying, shouting and whispering. I hear them as I've always heard them, but I can't catch the words except for the words of the parable. Then he then he that had received 5 talents went and traded with the same and made them another 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained another 2. But he that had received 1 went out and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. I think he's quoting the Bible here in quotes. My father was a great believer in education, hard work, personal responsibility. Those are our talents. He would say, my brother's eyes glazed over, and even I tried not to sigh. God has given them to us, and he'll judge us according to how we use them. The parable continues. To each of the 2 servants who had traded well and made profit for their Lord, The Lord said, end quote, well done, though, God and faithful servant. I'm not sure if they're like quoting the Bible right now. Because, like I said, it's like a fictional book. But done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. So I think that's like, if you accept the Lord in your heart, He's giving you fruits. Is what I'm reading. Like talents on talents for talents for talents. But to the servant who had done nothing with his silver talent except bury it in the ground to keep it safe, the Lord said harsher words. Thou wicked and slothful servant. That's like a sin. Like the sloth, like the deadly sins. Guess he's calling him lazy for not like what? Appraising. He began, and he ordered his men to take therefore the talent from him and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have in abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away, even that which he hath. Yeah, like I said, I think they're quoting the Bible because I don't even know if anybody talks like that nowadays. When my father has said these words, my mother vanishes. I haven't even been able to see her whole face, and now she's gone. I understand this. It scares me. I can see now that other people are vanishing too. Most have already gone, beloved ghosts. My father is gone. My stepmother calls out to him in Spanish, the way she did sometimes when she was excited. No, how can we live now? They'll break in. They'll kill us all. We must build the wall higher. So I don't know where they're at. I think they're like in a secure community and stuff, like community, and they got walls to keep other people from this community or something like that. My father is gone. My stepmother calls out to him. Oh, I already read that, but yeah, like I said, they're like in this community, and it's like post-apocalyptic or something like that. They're in this Earthseed West Coast place that had like succeeded from like the rest of the country in the future, the future, not right now. My father is gone. My stepmother, my fault. And she's gone. My brothers are gone. I'm all alone. As I was alone that night 5 years ago, the house is ashes and rubble around me. It doesn't burn or crumble or even fade to ashes. But somehow, in an instant, it is ruin. Open to the night sky. I see stars, a quarter moon, and a streak of light moving, rising into the sky like some light forces escaping. By the light of all three of these, I see shadows, large, moving, threatening. I fear these shadows, but I see no way to escape them. The wall is still there, surrounding our neighborhood, looming over me much higher than ever truly did. So much higher, it was supposed to keep danger out. It failed years ago, now it fails again. Danger is walled in with me. I want to run, to escape, to hide, but now my own hands, my feet begin to fade away. I hear thunder. I see the streak of light rise higher in the sky, grow brighter. So, yeah, this person is like, I guess they're like reliving a traumatic experience. Like, sounds like their home got burnt or something. But yeah, like I said, I'm reading this book, but we also have a lot of other books that I'm trying to finish this year. We got a book called Independent Studies, Beyond Fear, The Fourth Dimension, The Rainbow Book, and what else? I got a couple of them, you feel me? But we're gonna be doing a lot of different stuff here, like I said, y'all. Not a lot of different stuff. really just try to like stay on topic with, like I said, the books that I'm reading, and yeah, sharing stories and seeing how other people think about what's going on in the present times. But yeah, if you want to learn how to read in English, let me know. Hit us up. Join the chat. Join the live. And yeah, try to keep up. Buy the book. I think the book is like what, maybe like $15 a 10. And yeah, like I said, these videos are gonna be up. I'll be going live until like for like an hour, maybe or less, like 10:30, I'll say. All right, back to it. We're on page 12. Then I scream, I fall. Too much of my body is gone, vanished away. I can't stay upright, can't catch myself as I fall and fall and fall. It's crazy. She's like in a nightmare. I awoke her in my cabin, an acorn tangled in my blankets, half on and half off my bed. Had I screamed out loud? I didn't know. I never seem to have these nightmares when Banco is with me. Like a name? Weird ass name. So he can't tell me how much noise I make. It's just as well. His practice already cost him enough sleep, and this night must be worse than most for him. It's 3 in the morning now. But the last night, just after dark, some group of some gangs perhaps attacked the Devote Tree place just north of us. There were yesterday, at this time, 22 people living at Devote Tree. The old man, his wife, and his two youngest daughters, his 5 married sons, their wives, and their kids. So I guess they attacked their village, some people, because it said that they had walls. All of these people are gone except for the 2 youngest wives and the 3 little children they were able to grab as they ran. 2 of the kids are hurt, and one of the women has had a heart attack. Of all things, Banco has treated her before. Banco. Sound like a bankroll. Like Bankhead. My fault. That was just funny. Has treated her before. He says she was born with a heart defect that should have been taken care of when she was a baby, but she's only 20. Damn. And around the time she was born, her family, like most people, had little or no money. They worked hard themselves and put the strongest of their kids to work at ages at 8 or 10. What is this post-apocalyptic, crazy capitalist society that they live in? Their daughter's her problem. Their daughter's heart problem was always either going to kill her or let her live. It wasn't going to be fixed. Now it had nearly killed her. Banco was sleeping, or more likely staying awake, in the clinic room of the school tonight, keeping an eye on her and the 2 injured kids. Thanks to my hyperempathy syndrome, I still think that's fake. Like, I never heard of nothing like that. I guess she's like an empath and she feels everything around her or something. He can't have this clinic here at the house because then she'll feel it and like pass out. Like, she can't look at pain because she'll like, she'll feel the same pain that's going on. I pick up enough of the other people's pain as things are, and he worries about it. He keeps wanting to give me some stuff that prevents my sharing by keeping me sleepy, slow, and stupid. No thanks. So I awoke alone, soaked with sweat, and unable to get back to sleep. It's been years since I've had such a strong reaction to a dream. As I recall, the last time was 5 years ago, right after we settled here. And it was the same damn dream. Jesus. I suppose it comes back to me because of that attack on Dope Tree. So she's like traumatized. That attack shouldn't have happened. Things have been quieting down over the past few years. There's still crime, of course, robberies, break-ins, abductions for ransom or for slave trade. Jesus Christ. Worse, the poor still get arrested and intruded for intable. I don't even know what word this is. I'm gonna have to look it up. It says indentured for indebtedness. I don't even know. INDEBTEDNESS. We're gonna have to look that up. Vagrancy, loitering, and other crimes. But this thing of raging into a community and killing and burning all that you don't steal seems to have gone out of fashion. What is going on? They're like, it's like rage in the village. I haven't heard anything like this though. Tree raid for at least 3 years. So people are, sounds like people are like in this Mad Max world and they're out there trying to just, like raid villages and communities that are like protected by walls. And she has this trauma that she might get like, kidnapped or hurt every other time because, yeah, the times that they're in is crazy. Granted, the Dotrives, I guess that's like a name now. So it's a family name or a community name. That's what they call them, the Dotrives. Granted, the Dotrives did supply the area with home distilled whiskey and a homegrown marijuana. Mary Jane. But they've been doing that since long before we arrived. In fact, they were the best armed farm family in the area because their business was not only illegal but lucrative. People have tried to rob them before, but only the quick and quiet burglar types have had any success until now. A question Aubrey, the wealthy Dotree wife. While Banco was working on her son, he had already told her that the little boy would be all right. And I felt that we had to find out what she knew, no matter how upset she was. Hell, the Dotrieve houses are only an hour walk from here, down the old logging road. However, said whoever hit the Dotrieve could be next on their list. The Dotrieve, Jesus, so they out there trapping. They was trapping, and that's what happens when you out there doing, you got people scavengers. Just be, man. Aubrey told me that the attackers wore strange clothing. She and I talked in the main room of the school, a single smoky oil lamp between us, one of the tables. We sat facing one another across the table. Aubrey glancing every now and then the clinic room where Bankroll had cleaned and eased her child's scrapes, burns, and bruises. She said the attackers were men. The attackers were men. But they wore belted black tunics, black dresses. She called them, which hung to their thighs. Under these, they wore ordinary pants, either jeans or the kind of camouflage pants that she had seen soldiers wear. They were like soldiers, they said. They sneaked in so quiet. We never saw them until they started shooting at us. Then bang, all at once, they hit all our houses. It was like an explosion, maybe 20 or 30 or more guns going off all at the same time. Damn, Chirac in this bit. Jesus. And that wasn't the way gangs operated. Gangsters would have fired raggedly, not in unison. That's out of pocket. Then they would have tried to make individual names for themselves. Bruh. Tried to grab the best looking women or steal the best stuff before their friends could get it. Man, it sounds crazy. They didn't steal or burn anything until they had beaten us, shot us, Aubrey said. Then they took our fuel and went straight to our fields and burned our crops. Man, they done lit the Mary Jane on fire. Man, they didn't have a bonfire. That's crazy. After that, they raided the houses and barns. They all wore big white crosses on their chests. He's like, the Christian Crusaders? What is going on? Like church, but they killed us. They even shot the kids. Everybody they found, they killed them. I hid with my baby, or they would have shot him and me. Again, she stared toward the clinic room. That killing children, man, that's crazy, man. Stuff that's going on, kind of like today, right now in the States, man. It's crazy. That was a hell of a thing. Most thugs, except for the worst psychotics, would keep the kids alive for rape and then for sale. Jesus. I might have to change this for not kid friendly. I forgot about how crazy this book gets. Like, I haven't read this on like all along, so I just wanted to come back to it because but that is crazy. And as for the crosses, well, gangsters might wear crosses. Let's see what time. They said, well, gangsters might wear crosses on chains around their necks, but that wasn't the sort of things that most of their victims would get close. Wasn't the sort of things that most. My fault. I said, but that wasn't the sort of thing that most of their victims would get close enough to notice. And gangsters were unlikely to run around in matching tunics, all sporting white crosses on their chests. This was something new. Yeah, that is strange. Or something old. Yeah, like I said, it sounds like the white, what was it called? The Knight Templars or something like that, when they went around and raided villages and did all kind of crazy things. Because they said that they were being led by the Lord. I didn't think of what it might be until after I let Aubrey back to the clinic to bed down next to her children. Banco had given him something to help him sleep. He did the same for her, so I won't be able to ask her anything more until she wakes up later this morning. I couldn't help wondering, though, whether these people with their crosses had some connection with my current least favorite presidential candidate. What? This is crazy. Texas Senator Andrew Steedle Jarrett? What? It sounds like the sort of things his people might do. A revival of something nasty out of the past. Oh my Bob. The Ku Klux Klan. Wear crosses as well as burn them. The Nazis wore the swastikas, which is kind of a cross, but I don't think they wore it on their chest. They were crosses all over the place during the Inquisition and before that during the Crusades. So that's what that was. I was saying. You know what I mean? So now we have another group that uses crosses and slaughters people. Jarrett's people could be behind it. Oh yeah, like that senator dude. Jarrett insists on being a throwback to some earlier simple time. So, it's crazy. Now does not sue him. Religious tolerance does not sue him. The current state of the country does not sue him. He wants to take all us back to some magical time when everyone believed in the same God, worshipped him in the same way, and understood that their safety in the universe depended on completing the same religious rituals and stomping anyone who was different. There was never such a time in this country, but these days, when more than half the people in the country can't read at all. History is just one more vast unknown to them. Yeah, that is just cool. That just really throws me off. reporters have been known now and then to form mobs and burn people at the stake for being witches. Witches in 2032. Like I said, y'all, this is just a fictional book. Don't shoot the messenger. You feel me? Or the reader or whatever the Bob is. But yeah, in 2032. So like she's like I say there's this person that is like describing what the future might look like because of some of the actions that people are partaking in current events right now, whether it's apolitical or non-political views based on beliefs and religious aspects. Crazy. I hope this doesn't go like that in the future, but who's to say? A witch, in their view, tends to be a Muslim or a Jew, a Hindu, a Buddhist, or in some parts of the country, a Mormon, a Jehovah's Witness, or even a Catholic. A witch may also be an atheist, a occultist, or a well-do eccentric. Well-to-do eccentrics often have no protectors or much that's worth stealing, and a cultist is a great catch-all term from anyone who fits into no other large categories and yet doesn't quite match Jared's version of Christianity. Man, that is crazy. Jared's people have been known to beat or drive out Unitarians for goodness sake. Jared condemns the burnings but does so in such mild language that his people are free to hear what they want to hear. As for beatings, the tearing and the feathering and destruction of heathens, houses of the devil worship, he has a simple answer. Join us. Join us, brethren. That's basically what this guy is saying. But it is crazy. It sounds like Mad Max, man, like for real. But what a twist. As for the beatings, the tearings, and the feathering, the destruction of the heathen's house of the devil worshippers, he has a simple answer. Join us. Outdoors are open to every nationality, every race. Leave your sinful past behind and become one of us. Help us make America great again. Yeah, they put that in there. And mind you, this book came out in 1996, so that slogan been like a thing. Or I think 1992? I don't know, like 98? Yes, it's 98. Originally published in 98, but I'm pretty sure like 96, but crazy. Make America great again. Yeah, that's what we all hope, right? He had notable successes. He had notable success with his carrot and stick approach. Join us and thrive, or whatever happens to you as a result of your own sinful stubbornness is your problem. His opponent, Vice President Edward J. Smith, calls him a demagogue, a rabble rouser, and a hypocrite. Smith is right, of course, but Smith is such a tired gray shadow of a man. Jared, on the other hand, is a big, handsome, black-haired man with deep, clear blue eyes that seduce people and hold them. Whatever. I don't know about all that, but blue eyes and black hair. That is crazy. Who is this guy? Tom Cruise or something? He has a voice that a whole body experience. He has a voice that's a whole body experience, the way my father's was. In fact, I am sorry to say, Jared was one He said Jared was once a Baptist minister like my father, but he left Baptist behind years ago to begin his own Christian America demolition. It's crazy. He no longer preaches regular California sermons at California churches or on the nets, but he still recognizes and head of the church. It seems inedible. It seems inedible that people who can't read are going to learn more towards judging candidates on the way that they look and sound than what they claim and they stand for. That is some crazy thing. They're basically saying that people are just going off the judgment of their, yeah, like what they see, what they look. What they say, you can't judge a book by its cover, but people can't read. That's crazy. Yeah, like I said, y'all, hopefully this doesn't go in this direction, and maybe I'm partaking in these type of actions right now, and like I said, trying to teach you guys a little bit of some, not really, because like I said, like I'm just preaching to the choir right now. Like I said, if you guys get into it, maybe you could teach your teenage homie or whoever, Gen Z, Gen Alpha people and stuff like that. Like I said, I have a family too, so I try to like just keep it out there for my family, just like story time and storytelling and stuff like that. Cause it's crazy. Do you hear this stuff that I am that person is saying? But I'm just reading. But all right, it seems inevitable that people who can't read are going to learn more towards judging candidates on the way that they look and sound than on what they claim they stand for. Even people who can read and are educated are apt to pay more attention to good looks and seductive lies than they should. And no doubt, the new picture ballots on the Nets will give Jared an even greater advantage. Jared's people see alcohol and drugs as Satan's tools. Some of his more fanatical followers might very well be the Tunic and Cross gang who destroyed the Dove Tree. Yeah, sounds like that sound like so. And we are Earthseed. So like I was saying, like these are just like groups of people that, congregated and now they're part of this like urbanized community. But it says that we are that cult. So she's kind of like, I guess they're, whatever, occultists. Those strange people in the hills, those crazy fools who pray to some kind of god of change. I think I heard about this stuff before, like in the 1980s, where they were like trying to prosecute the Catholics because they were trying to like teach a liberation theory or something like that, and then the CIA came through and tried to like wipe out the natives or something like that. It sounds like very much so. Like, what do they call them? Marxist? I forgot, gang. But it sounds like that, y'all. Black Ops. Fools who pray to some kind of god of change. We are also, according to some rumors I've heard, those devil worshipping hill havens who take in children, and what do you suppose they do with them? Never mind that. The trade in abduct or orphan children or children sold by desperate parents goes on all over the country and everyone knows it. Jesus, it sounds like the Philippines. Damn. No matter the hint in that some cult is taking in children for questionable purpose and enough to make some people irrational. That's the kind of rumor that could hurt us, even with people who aren't Jared supporters. I've only heard it a couple times, but it's still crazy and scary. At this point, I just hope that the people who hit Dope Tree, hold on, I got like 6 more minutes. Some new gang discipline and frightened, but only after profit, I hope. But I don't believe it. I do suspect that Jared's people has something to do with this, and think I'd rather, I think I'd better say so today. Gathering with the Doe Trees. With Dove Tree fresh in everyone's mind, people will be ready to cooperate, have more drills, and scatter more catches of money, food, weapons, records, and valuables. We can fight a gang. We've done that before. When we were much less prepared than we were now, but we can't fight Jared in particular. We can't fight President Jared. President Jared. It sounds like President uh, Barron, Jaron Barron. Maney. If the country is mad enough to elect him, could destroy us without even knowing we exist. It sounds like Donald Trump's son. Like, it sounds crazy. We are now 59 people, 64 with the Dove Tree, women and children if they stay. With numbers like that, we barely do exist. All the more reasons, I suppose, for my dream, my talent. Going back to the parable of the talents, is Earthseed, and although I haven't buried it in the ground, I have buried it here in these coastal mountains. That's literally what the Ethiopians were doing in the great time of the floods, y'all. When they went into the mountains and they started to write the book of Enoch and the book of Jubilee, that's what they's doing, y'all. Crazy. Like I said, this is just a book. I am not one-sided or neither heavy-sided nor whatever. I stand stagnant. My talent, going back to the parable of talents, is Earthseed. Although I haven't buried it in the ground, I have buried it here in these coastal mountains where it can grow at about the same speed as our redwood trees. Wow. So they're like, what? Huh? She's planning something? I'm not sure. But what else could I have done? If I had somehow been as good as a rabble rousing as Jared is, then Earthseed might be big enough movement by now to be a real target. Jesus. And would that be better? I'm jumping to all kinds of unwarranted conclusions. At least I hope they were unwarranted. Between my horrors, unwarranted. I'm gonna start like pulling out like a little tablet so I can start like looking up these words that I don't know about. Unwarranted. I don't know. I don't know why they just write unwanted. This is like the reading thing that they were talking about. You know, people just like do not want to read. It says, I am jumping to all kinds of unwarranted conclusions. At least I hope they are unwarranted. Between my horror and what's happened down at the Dove Tree and my hopes and fears for my own people, I am upset and at loose ends, perhaps just imagining things. I hope we are all just imagining things for real. Chapter 2. Like I said, y'all, is yeah, check out this book. Like I said, I'm reading a book. These are not my own thoughts or opinions, so do not get at me at all, okay? Chaos. It's God's most dangerous Basemorphous? I don't know what that. Chaos is God's most dangerous face. Amorphous, roiling, hungry shapes, chaos shaped God act. Alter the speed or the direction of change. Vary the scope of change. Recombine the seeds of change. Transmute the impact of change. Seize the change. Use it, adapt, and grow. We're in chapter 2. from Earthsea, the Books of the Living. It says, we're on page 18. The original 10 settlers of the Acorn, and thus the original 13 members of Earthsea, were my mother, of course, and Harry Balter Zara Moss, who were also refugees from my mother's home neighborhood in Robledo. There was Travis Nabedavet. I can't even pronounce that name. He's a fake. And Dominic Douglas, a young family who became my mother's first highway converts. It's crazy. She met them as both groups walked through Santa Barbara, California. She liked their looks, recognized their dangerous vulnerability. Dominic was only a few months old, at the time, and convinced them to walk with Harry, Zara, and her into their long trek north, where they all hoped to find better lives. Next came Allison Gilchrist and her sister Jillian, Allie, and Jill. But Jill was killed later on along the highway. At around the same time, my mother spotted my father and he spotted her. Neither of them was shy and both seemed willing to act on what they felt. My father joined the growing group. It sounds like Leave While You Can, when they were like walking and stuff like that, and they were trying to get to like a different community, and there's like a whole bunch of people out there, and they're trying to like talk to people, and they're just like, "What type of American are you?" Yeah, it's crazy. My father joined growing the group. Justin Ward became Justin Gilchrist when the group found him carrying alongside the body of his dead mother. Man, he was about 3 at the time, and he was about 3 at the time, and he and Allie wound up coming together in another small family. Last came the 2 families of ex-slaves that joined together to become one growing family of sharers. These were Grayson Mora and his daughter Doe Emery Solis and her daughter Tori. Man, these names. That was it. 4 children, 4 men, 5 women. They should have died. They survived all in the unforgiven world of the pox. Remember, there was like this like epidemic that had like blew up again or something like that. Something like COVID. Yeah, might have qualified as a miracle, although of course Earthsea does not encourage beliefs in miracles. No doubt the group isolated location well away from towns and paved roads helped keep it safe from much of the violence of the time. The land it settled on belonged to my father. There was on that land when he group arrived one dependable well, a half-ruined garden, a number of fruit and nut trees, and groves of oaks, pines, and redwoods. Once the members of the group had pooled their money and bought handcrafted seeds, small livestock, hand tools, and other necessities, they were almost independent. They vanished into their hills and increased their numbers by birth, by adoption, or orphans. It's crazy. And by conversion of needy adults, they scavenged what they could from abandoned farms and settlements. They traded at street markets and traded with their neighbors. One of the most valuable things they traded with one another was knowledge. Like that boy said from Belly, you feel me? It's all about knowledge. I don't even know why I referenced that. I just remember knowledge. Every member of Earthsea learned to write and to read. It's very important to write and read. Most, we'll stop like in a second. We're at page 21. Most knew at least two languages, usually Spanish and English. Well, they're in California, so since those were the two most useful, it's hella funny. Anyone who joined the group, child or adult, had began at once to learn these basic and acquired a trade. Anyone who had a trade was always in the process of teaching it to someone. My mother insisted on this, and it does seem sensible. Public schools had become rare in those days when 10-year-old children could be put to work. Education was no longer free, but it was still mandatory according to the law. God, that sounds like what they just did, where they passed in a law where immigrants are having to pay, or they're trying to like make immigrants like not go to school with other non-speaking English students right now. I'm not sure if that's going on in Texas or like in the South, but that definitely is going on right now. I'm not sure if they passed the bill yet. The problem was no one was enforcing such laws, just as no one was protecting child laborers. That's crazy. My father had the most valuable skills in the group. By the time he married my mother, he had been practicing medicine for almost 30 years. He was a multiple rarity for their location, well-educated, professional, and black. Black people in particular were rare in the mountains. People wondered about him. Why was he there? He could have been making a better living in someone's small established town. The area was littered with tiny towns that would be glad to have any doctor. Was he competent? Was he honest? Was he clean? Could he have be trusted? Looking after wives and daughters, how could they be sure he was really a doctor at all? My father apparently wrote nothing at all about this, but my mother wrote about everything. She says at one point, Banco heard the same whispers and rumors I did at the various street markets and in the occasional meetings with my neighbors, and he shrugged. He had us he had his this person writing this book. He had us healthy and our work related injuries to treat. Others, no. He had us healthy and our work related injuries to treat. Other people had their first aid kits, their satellite phones, nets, and if they were lucky, their cars or trucks. These vehicles tend to be old and undependable, but some people had them. Whether or not they called Banco was their business, and whether or not, oh man, my eyes. I'll just try to get through one more thing. Then, thanks to some else misfortune, things improved. Jean Holly's appendix flared up and all but ruptured, and the Holy Family, our Eastern neighbors, decided that they had better take a chance on Banco. Once Banco had saved the woman's life, so Banco was like another like elder, I guess, in the group. Man, that name, bro. Whatever. Not my book. Had saved the woman's life. He had a talk with the family. He told them exactly what he thought of them for waiting so long to call him, for almost letting a woman with 5 young children die. He spoke with that intense, quiet courtesy of his that makes people squirm. The holies took it. He became their doctor, and the holies mentioned him to their friends and the civilians mentioned him to their daughter who had married into the Gamma family, and the Gammas told the Devotees because old Miss Dovetree, the matriarch, had been a Gamma. I am so lost with all these families and cliques and stuff like that. I guess they're like trading resources. And one of the most valuable resources, obviously, is like the dude that knows medicine, which is her dad. But I guess there's another guy that they had to trust. I'm not sure if her dad already died or something was happening around this time. But yeah, that's what's going on. So, you know, trade with thy neighbor. It says, speaking of knowing people, I wish more than ever that I could have known my father. He seems to have been an impressive man, and perhaps it would have been good for me to know this version of my mother, struggling, focused, but very young, very human. I might have liked these people. All right, that's where we stop at. Page 21, Parable of the Talents. Very, very crazy stuff. Not sure how I'm going to be proceeding to be reading these books, but like I said, it's really just for um, personal, you know, storytelling, you know, telling my people's, friends, families, and stuff like that. Seeing if they like to see these type of things, just trying something new. Like I said, I like this book, and when I was like, what, maybe like 13 or 14 in high school or something like that, and I just wanted to like go back to the book because apparently there was a movie and there was a second book that was about to that came. I just never read them, but like I said, like everything that I was reading was like comparable to whatever was happening right now in these times, in these unprecedented times, man. Very crazy, very, very crazy. But yeah, tune in. We're gonna keep on reading these books every other now and then. Like I said, we have a lot more books that I'm trying to get through this year. The book is about 420 pages, so I got like 400 pages left to go. Like I say, every Sunday and Thursday, every Sunday and Thursdays will be live for about like an hour and a half to like an hour. You feel me? But if people like what I'm doing here, like I said, you could hit me up, message me, and subscribe. Uh, yeah, share it. You know, put your opinions and out there and stuff like that. Like I said, like I'm not trying to be leaning towards any type of political side, all right? I'm very stagnant. I see both sides of things because I'm a Libra. So don't get at me in any type of way for reading this material. Like I said, you know, it's YouTube. I'm assuming we still have freedom of speech right now. And it's just something like I want to read. And yeah, tune in to next time, y'all.